Welcome to Medical Confessions.
Your remedy for serious medicine. I'm Jen.
I'm April.
And I'm Scott. Today we're going to be talking about performance-enhancing drugs. But before we do that, we do have to apologize a little bit for not putting anything up recently.
I don't think we need to apologize.
Okay, we don't apologize.
No, I think that happens at times and things.
It does.
You know.
We got busy. We're sorry.
Well, and I think
Jen's not.
No. I mean, it's always disappointing for fans, and we have very few, so that's okay. But I just think that happens sometimes, and then it just the absence makes the heart grow fonder, right?
Yes.
Right.
Well, and I say you're sorry because I've, got a Canadian in my life, and that's what we do.
You apologize for everything. But it's fun. We're back in the studio. The exciting thing is we are back, and it's cold out. So we are in layers. April's got her Marty McFly vest on.
And it's been so long, there's been spiders in our studio, and we don't know where they went, and so we're a little nervous.
Yes. I forgot about it. And I'm like, that's right.
He was a monster. So I took a photo. We'll put that up on the website. But he was a little intimidating.
Will we?
Yeah, will we?
Probably not. Probably not. Performance enhancing. This episode actually spawned out of the article that talked about spinach.
Yeah, so Popeye had it right. There was a study that came out in July of 2019 that said spinach. There's some spinach extract you can buy that actually is a very significant performance enhancer. And that spinach, I mean, everybody knows spinach is a superfood. So you eat a lot of it, and you'll have to eat a lot of it. And you will get a performance-enhancing effect. And actually the study, or the authors of the study said this should be added to the banned substance list.
What?
I think that's BS.
Right, okay, and so let's back up. So before we get into the science of how it works, eating a lot of it, but there is an extract.
Yeah, so it's a refined extract, right? But maybe this should be our teaser.
Hold on. Is this an essential oil? Just curious.
It should be an essential supplement if you're a weekend warrior.
Okay,
I think,
sorry.
But,
Go ahead.
Anyways. But so I think we should just talk about performance-enhancing drugs in general and let the spinach be our teaser.
Okay. I like that.
All right.
Let's do that.
Well, the use of drugs to enhance performance in sports has occurred since the time of the original Olympic Games, from 776 to 393 BC. The origin of the word doping is attributed to the Dutch word doop, which is a viscous opium juice, the drug of choice for the ancient Greeks. The ancient Greeks also drank wine potions, they used hallucinogens, they ate animal hearts or testicles in search of potency. 1958, the FDA approves the first anabolic steroid for sale in the U.S. Dr. Ziegler, that's his name.
That's a name.
I just like that name. Dr. Ziegler noted the success of Russian weightlifting team due to the testosterone in 1954 and began experiments on the U.S. weightlifters. Close to his death in 1983, Dr. Ziegler speaks out against his invention and says he wishes he had never created anabolic steroid after seeing athletes' abuse of the drug. 1999, the World Anti-Doping Agency is established. The agency consists of equal parts representative from the Olympics movement and public authorities.
Well, and so now we have the World Anti-Doping Association, or World Anti-Doping Agency. It's not an association, apparently. It's an agency. Mm-hmm. Either way, and that's so the Olympic Committee, that's what they use, their list of banned drugs, and so that's what we're going to talk about, the different banned drugs and why they're banned and what they can do for you, and then we can move on to why spinach should be on that list, and it's not right now.
Good.
Exciting.
Let's make it fun.
Yeah.
Well, and I feel like, I don't know, is it just my opinion, or are these anti-doping agencies a little over the top?
Well, and so you see their point, right? Like, their job is to say, you're going to get a performance-enhancing effect that other people won't get if you do X, Y, or Z. But that could be anything, right? Like, so right now, currently, the California just passed a law where the college sports team or college sports athletes can allow sponsors to come and pay them. Well, now the other states are saying, well, hey, that gives them a competitive advantage because they'll get all the good athletes going there, and so is that really an advantage? But then you've got everything across the board, not just drugs, but now chromosome problems like caster and her XY chromosome. She has that. Is that a performance enhancer for her? She's the lady who won the gold medal in 2012 and 2016 in the 800 meters, and she's got an XY chromosome, so she's got more testosterone going around her body. Is that,
I just
fair
feel like,
for her to have that?
I just think that how many other women in the past had that, and did they not have the technology to test for that? Like, how
True.
many other? So I don't know.
But there is a disparity, so it's hard to just cast it off to the side because it's even transgender, issues. Like, it's hard to not look at it.
There are literally hundreds of banned substances that give you a performance-enhancing effect. So the World Anti-Doping Agency has a prohibited list of drugs. The ones we're going to be talking about comes from the prohibited list that they're going to use for the Tokyo 2020 games and the Lausanne? I don't know how to pronounce that city, but it's apparently the games for 2020 as well for the winter, I would imagine. I don't think Tokyo's I know nothing about the 2020 Olympic Games, but one of them's in Tokyo, one of them's in Lausanne. I'm imagining the Lausanne is the Winter Olympics. Anyways, so a lot of these drugs, some you can use outside of competition, but you can't use inside of competition. Some you can't use at all across the board, and some of them aren't even drugs, they are just procedures. So they've classed them into several different classes. The first one is S0, and the S0 is any drug that's in the development stage or hasn't been clinically approved yet, or any drug that's just approved for veterinary use. Can't use it at all, no matter what it is. So S1 is the anabolic steroids or anabolic agents. So testosterone and androsterone are just two examples of anabolic steroids, but the point is that testosterone helps with muscle growth, right?
Right.
And it promotes muscle building. It also decreases the recovery time of your muscles, so when you break them down during workouts, they have to recover and get bigger and stronger, and so that reduces that recovery time. It also reduces the damage you get from the muscle workout itself. So, I mean, these are all huge things, right? You take it, it's going to be great, but some of the problems are you get like increased facial hair, you get a deeper voice. In men, you get prominent breasts. You get
That is so weird that in women it makes you grow facial hair and acne, but in men it gives you breasts.
Yeah, it does.
Like, how unfair is that?
Well, but you with those big breasts, you get swollen or you get shrunken testes. You get infertility. Women, they get enlarged clitorises.
Whoa.
They get body hair. They get baldness.
There's women like I don't want to say CrossFit. That's not fair, but like women that are like heavily into bodybuilding and working out that will take testosterone, and the obvious one is we see on movies is like the deepened voice.
Mm-hmm.
But I've heard that before.
Yeah, it's apparently a thing, right? Like, but yeah, the deeper voice with testosterone. I mean,
It explains a lot. When I was in junior high, I saw a dirty magazine on the side of the road, and this woman looked like, I'm like, that's a small penis. And I mean,
where did you? Where?
on the side of the road.
I was walking to school. I don't know. I saw it. I was like, what is that? It's not a woman.
April. That explains so much.
And that's when it started, isn't it?
She must have done steroids.
Or it's just natural, right? Because you can get some women who have XY chromosomes that have excessive testosterone going around their body, castersemania being one of them.
This is the day when, I told you that my phone is linked to my home computer. This is one of those days where I really don't want my family to look up my browsing history. There's no way to explain this one away.
You're looking up enlarged clitorises on Google?
I did not do that, no.
It's probably
but
best.
There's a lot of things that combine with what we're researching here that just aren't pretty. The world's not pretty.
Well, and so why you shouldn't take anabolic agents, which is why he's probably unhappy, the guy who invented it, that he did, because you can also get acne, liver tumors, hypertension, or high blood pressure, high cholesterol, psychiatric disorders. There are so many things that are bad for taking excessive anabolic steroids, so don't do it. But you do get bigger muscles, so there's that. So that's S1. That's their first class for the World Anti-Doping Agency, but they have a lot more.
And anabolic and a corticosteroid is.
So it would just be the molecule, but they're both steroids in general, right?
Right.
Corticosteroids are actually prohibited too by the Anti-Doping Agency.
So what about people though that need them?
So this is where
I get annoyed, because there's people that need corticosteroid, like there's a need.
So the World Anti-Doping Organization actually there are countless of their drugs that are prohibited, but you can get a therapeutic use exemption. But you have to get a note from your doctor, and we'll talk about one with Jonathan Vaughters, one of the Tour de France athletes, when he tried to get one and couldn't. But you can get these exemptions because you have, like, say, asthma or something, and you need a corticosteroid that'll reduce inflammation. With the anabolic steroids, the big difference is the reaction you're getting from the steroid molecule itself. So with the anabolic steroids, it's going to be muscle growth is what you're looking for, but then you get all of these other side effects. With the glucocorticoids, it's you're actually reducing inflammation. That's what you're trying to get out of it with asthmatics. So things like prednisone and solumedrol, we use that in our profession all the time for asthmatics. And so this particular class of steroids is actually very controversial on why it should even be on the list, because along with its anti-inflammatory effects and its immunosuppressive effects, which are what they're saying is giving you that performance enhancing, because if you don't have inflamed stuff, it doesn't hurt as much and you can work out more and longer. So that's the main difference. Do we want to go through all the things that you can't use, or just touch on them real quick?
Yeah.
They're kind of boring.
That sounds fun.
So S1 is the anabolic steroids. S2 is peptide hormones and growth factors, things like HGH. We've heard of that, right? HGH is human growth hormone, right? You get increased muscle mass, more energy, improved exercise capacity. It's made by the pituitary gland. But the problem with HGH is those levels fluctuate throughout the day. So if you get tested in the morning, it's going to be different than if you're tested in the afternoon about the levels in your body, and everybody's levels are a little bit different. So while you're sleeping, you got super high levels of HGH, which is why we should get good sleep.
April looks like she wants to laugh.
No, I don't.
Yeah, you do.
No.
Just share it.
No, I
You're
can't.
just bored already?
It's totally inappropriate. Carry on.
So other growth factors, peptide hormones in this S2 class, EPO, erythropoietin. It's the molecule in your body that makes red blood cells. So Lance Armstrong was accused of this famously for increasing his red blood cell count, because when he had cancer, he was taking it, and they said, that gave you an advantage overall. Because you get more red blood cells. So cardio athletes like that. Ironically, ghrelin is a banned growth or a hormone.
Get me all worked up now.
I know, it's the marijuana one, right?
No, just because I know what that is. So. Nothing to do with marijuana, but I actually know what ghrelin is. So.
Ghrelin is an appetite stimulator, right? But it's banned. So we won't go into too much examples of that because it gets boring. But so the next class is S3, beta-2 agonist. Beta-2 does things like dilate your bronchioles, so it increases the amount of oxygen you can get into your lungs. It also has vasodilation of your muscles and your liver, so you can get more blood flow to all your muscles and things like that, so you shouldn't be taking that, right? Some common ones would be like albuterol. There's tons of terols, so albuterol would be one. There's procaterol, olodaterol. There's a lot of these beta-2 agonists.
Sorry, Scott. This is one of those episodes, we must confess, where April and I just start making faces at each other. And mouthing.
All I'm seeing is us in the chicken use.
I'm thinking about our critics who think that April and I are stupid and annoying, and we're checked out and non-appreciative. But I shouldn't even say that. Like, we just know our limitations, and
we're still going to go through it, so if you're bored, fast forward.
No, it's not even like it's boredom. It's just like we have nothing to contribute at this point. No. All I know is steroids make you puffy.
Don't take steroids.
No, but like there's
You'll
good
puffy.
puffy and bad puffy. right?
What's good puffy?
Well,
Yeah.
so steroid, when bodybuilders take it, you know, or athletes, and they get like just ripped, and then there's the bad puppy steroids, which are the corticosteroids, you know, like, yes, thank you,
Prednisones
Scott.
of the world. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. He's acknowledging now. There's good puffy and bad puffy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I get your point then.
Okay. Whew. I feel verified. Good.
Well, and you know, that bad puffy, it's a thing. You need it sometimes, right?
And it's unfortunate because I know people that have had to be on them, and it totally changes their form, and not in like the good like bodybuilder kind of way. It's you know, so that's why I'm kind of like frustrated.
When it comes with crazy side effects, you want to hear the worst one for the prednisone use?
Sure.
I degloved a poor old lady one time because if you take these prednisone for too long, you'll thin your skin out, you'll make it super weak, you thin your veins out, you know, so this is why you get increased chance of strokes and heart attacks. But this poor lady was not doing well, so we had to hurry to get her from the tiny little spot she was in, and I grabbed her by the arms like we always do, and I went to lift her up and degloved her like you would not believe. And I remember looking at my partner, you guys, he's retired now, but I remember looking at him going, oh, put it down, like, oh my goodness, I just hurt this lady. But you know, she's been on prednisone for years, so that's unfortunate.
It is.
Horror scene.
It really was, and I felt horrible.
Fun. Let's continue.
Yeah, moving on.
It is.
So examples of how much this beta-2 can actually help you. Several studies showed that cycling time trialists can get a 2% increase in their time, basically. So, and 2% in a cycling race is a lot.
Yeah.
Like you're winning by a ton.
So we all have like a common friend who competed against Lance Armstrong.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Mm-hmm.
And he used caffeine once. He told me this story.
He did. And I'm just, you know, like, so this is fun for me.
Well, we're going to talk about caffeine too, because at
well, not
levels,
just caffeine, but like the, you know, claims from Lance Armstrong with the steroid use.
Well, he's admitted that he used performance-enhancing drugs. I don't know if he admitted specifically which ones or what he exactly did, but he's admitted he did it.
Right.
Yeah.
But
also, he also says everybody is doing it.
Right.
Like,
Right.
Well,
right.
and so this is, I probably shouldn't say this on camera, but this is my own personal opinion. Everyone back then was using drugs and doping when it comes to the Tour de France. You watch the Tour de France now, it's boring, right? Like, you're looking at these guys going, oh, God, you know, back in the day they used to do X, Y, and Z because they were all on these banned substances, and maybe you shouldn't use it, right? But everyone was doing it, and since everyone was doing it, he was just the king of the dopers, so let's give him his titles,
But I
right?
heard he was rude, and that annoys me.
He was.
He was
I've heard
super
he was
rude.
kind of a jerk.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's more my hang up. He was not nice.
Lance Armstrong's going to somehow get a hold of our podcast and sue us for some
Well, no,
defamation
or he's already admitted all this, so he's like, oh, I wish I was nicer.
Yeah.
Then.
Yeah. Should have been nicer to
the
Sheryl Crow.
outrage.
That's what I know.
Yes. Why wouldn't you be nice to Sheryl
I
Crow?
know. I like Cheryl.
You blew that one.
Moving on. So, the next class is your S4. Those would be hormones or metabolic modulators. So things like insulin actually is banned. But one of the ones we've talked about before was androstenol. It's a human pheromone. It's the compound that they think is the pheromone that might make us more sexually attractive. Who knows?
Yeah, you tried to sneak it in the studio once.
Well, no, I did. I gave it to you guys, and it was supposed to adjust your periods. Apparently.
But I've had a hysterectomy, so...
So it had
was
no use on you.
So stupid of you. Anyways.
Anyways, so the reason why this one's banned, I had to look that up because I'm like, why would a pheromone be banned? That doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
But the ideology apparently is that they are thought to increase the capacity for bodily or mental labor by eliminating fatigue symptoms. So apparently you take it and the symptoms of fatigue aren't there.
I
and
still
so you
have
can
that bottle you bought.
You could be that could be your doping. Don't use
Give it to me.
Okay.
I need
You
it.
need it, because now that you're playing women's football.
Not officially.
Good for you.
It's been too long, guys.
Next class is diuretic or masking agents. So diuretics are things that make you pee, things like Lasix and hydrochlorothiazide and mannitol.
What about spironolactone?
That would be a high blood pressure drug.
Yeah, but it has, doesn't it have agents that you have to Google it?
I do have to Google this one.
Hot dog. I think I know something you don't know. It's a diuretic as well.
Okay.
Look at him. He didn't even move his lips. Okay. Poor stupid girl. Okay.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh!
Look at you go.
Oh.
Woo! Yes! Nailed it.
I've heard spironolactone all the time, and
Now you know something.
now I know. This is why we're not doctors, right? So either way, so these things
Why Scott's not a doctor.
clearly.
He had no hope. There was never any hope. April's a
No
female
ch-
football player.
Not officially.
Not officially.
Soon. You've joined the team, you just
Yeah.
don't know it yet, is the
That's right.
problem. So you can't take these diuretics because they increase your urine output, so it's going to adjust the urine levels when they're doing pee tests, basically, to see if you're using performance-enhancing drugs. So you're not allowed to use diuretics. They're also for the sports where there's weight categories like boxing and wrestling. They give you decreased weight loss because you're peeing off all that water. So those are prohibited. The next one are prohibited methods. So not drugs, just things that you shouldn't do. So one of those is going to be like taking packed red blood cells. So like you can't take EPO to make more red blood cells. One of the things that some people can do is they can basically give blood. They can get all their red blood cells taken out of their whole blood, and then just before the race they'll put the red blood cells back in them, and now they can go faster because their body has better oxygen carrying capacity and can get rid of the CO2 quicker. So that's one example. But anything you can put in your body, so whole blood, red blood cells, plasma, no matter what it is, it's all banned. Chemical or physical manipulations, so using urine substitutes or getting IV infusions, like you're just getting a bunch of saline.
What's a urine substitute? Like,
so people, I took your pee in and got that tested versus my own pee.
oh, that
Or
sounds
there are
dumb.
some-
So like the time we tricked April into thinking she was pregnant?
Yes, just like that.
Okay. That was a legit substitute.
Well, and I have heard, but I didn't look this one up, that people do urine transplants. So they pee,
Ooh.
and then they stick a catheter up in there, and then they put someone else's pee in there
Ooh.
just before
can
they
you
go
get,
in, and then
diseases?
pee that. I would imagine you could, but I haven't looked this up specifically. I just have heard of this process happening.
That sounds horrible.
Like
But-
hardcore.
Well, if you're an NFL athlete, you're making X million dollars a year, and you're going to lose your contract because you smoked weed the day before or something. Like,
I'd
I don't
say,
know.
let's skip it. Have a beer instead. Let's skip the weed.
Let's go ahead and use Lasix instead. Anyway, and you can't get IV infusions, so you can't, just take a bunch of saline to rehydrate yourself or whatever. They actually limit it to 100 milliliters in any 12-hour period is what you can have. And then there's gene and cell doping.
Can they tell the difference between like you're hydrated from saline or you just drank a bunch of water the night before?
Oh, good question, April.
Well, you would definitely have
Smart
to.
girl stuff right
I
here.
know, like,
No, that's legit.
Well, no,
Scott.
it is, and right. So here's the thing: you would have to. The problem is you'd have to take the blood test before and after, right? Because you can't say that guy just wasn't drinking water, consistently throughout the entire time. But you can only reabsorb so much fluid every hour, right? So if you ever go to a hospital and you see they're putting fluid in, they're going to do things like 150 milliliters an hour or 175 milliliters an hour. They don't go too much above that because your body's not going to absorb it. So if you're not taking, small sips throughout the day for long periods of time, you're just going to pee it off, and you won't actually absorb it into your why can't I think of organs? When I think of the word organ,
This right here. This is the
the
problem.
8.2%.
Space dust.
But if you took IV fluid, you would then rehydrate yourself that much quicker. So if you did take blood tests before and after the hydration, which they do in ERs all the time, they hydrate people, they check their levels, cool, you're now good to go. Like if you're low sodium levels, low potassium levels, they might give you IVs with potassium in it so they can increase your potassium, and they'll check before and after. But so if they did test you, they would have to know the results before and after to say that you took saline, which is why...
So the answer is no, they wouldn't know the difference.
No, which is why Lance used to get all pissed off back when he was doing the Tour de France, because the French police would raid his hotel room in the middle of the night trying to catch him getting IV fluids. So
That's
they do
disruptive.
It is
Yeah,
disruptive,
but I
and that's
heard
what
he
he
Get a
said.
deserved
good
it.
night's sleep.
I pretty deserved it.
Well, and
That
so
was
they,
going to be my argument for the spinach. Like, if they're going to ban spinach, they might as well, like, say athletes can only drink a gallon a day, because if you drink more than this person, you have an unfair advantage.
well, and that's, you know,
Like-
they
That's stupid.
yeah.
there are some things they can't, you know,
Okay.
like your EPO, you're getting packed red blood cells. They can't.
Let's talk about spinach then. If April's going to drop that mic.
Let's move on.
It just makes me mad.
Yeah.
All
So
right.
many rules.
Well, let me just say the other ones real quick. There's stimulants like cocaine, epinephrine, pseudoephedrine. Can't
Wait,
take
you
that.
can't take cocaine?
No. Can't do it. Sorry.
That's not okay.
Yeah. Increases your metabolic rate. It makes you bigger,
Weird.
stronger, faster, right?
Strange.
Narcotics, and they, in this class...
What narcotic would be good though? Like I feel like aren't narcotics kind of like
Well, so their definition of narcotic isn't my definition. I call it an opioid. I think
right,
we all
right.
call it
That's
opioids.
what I'm thinking. I'm like, I wouldn't
But-
want to take that before a, like a
decreases
an event.
pain. So, like, if you don't have as much
Oh.
pain, you can, like, you know, punch somebody more if you're in the boxing ring or whatever,
Okay.
you know. So cannabinoids, you can't do that except for CBD. They do allow CBD
Right.
oil, which I thought was super progressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's, you know, some states don't even allow that, but you can't do other cannabinoids. Glucocorticoids you can't do. Beta blockers you can't do, which seems counterintuitive because beta blockers actually slow things down, but sports like shooting, darts, golf,
Oh,
archery,
the chill
billiards,
effect.
you need the chill effect. So
Yeah.
you can't take beta blockers.
Which it would be like. So what about a decathlete?
Yes, you cannot
What do
do
they?
it.
What do they take? Because you got to
Stimulants.
amp up, calm down, amp up.
Coffee. So coffee, we didn't talk about in stimulants since we were going through, but coffee at certain levels is banned, but it's not
What?
banned at lower levels. You do get a performance
Not
enhancing
pay to
effect.
be an athlete apparently.
But these levels are so high that you would have to be taking a
like
supplement.
4 kilograms of
I
spinach.
don't quote me, but it's like 6 to 9 milligrams per kilogram. So you got to be drinking buttloads of coffee to be getting that much caffeine into your system.
I like threw the
Probably just-
decathlete thing out there like it was just a long shot. Like, how does Scott even like?
Because we read on it.
No, you
Just
read
this
on
morning.
it. You read on it. There's a difference.
I just want to know, why is darts a sport that it's got to be drug tested for?
You want to hear my favorite suspension?
What about bowling?
You got suspended?
No. I mean, my research.
Oh, okay.
March 1st, 2019, top-ranked bridge player
No.
suspended for doping.
Bridge?
Bridge! The world's #1 bridge player has been suspended after failing a drug test. The world
How old was this bridge player?
doesn't say. The bridge
It's important.
the World
'Cause if they're
Bridge
90
Federation is recognized by the International Olympic Committee, and as such abides by the World Anti-Doping Agency rules.
Okay, so was this bridge player 90 and they were on
Doesn't say his age.
Solumedrol for
Yeah, he apparently didn't get a
COPD
therapeutic
and
use exemption. You do have to file for these things, right?
that sounds silly.
It says he tested positive for a synthetic testosterone
Oh.
and
For
a
bridge?
female fertility drug.
So spinach.
Scott's like, about spinach.
So in July of 2019, there was a study published in the Archives of Toxicology. It was called Corticosteroids and Non-Conventional Anabolic Agent Performance Enhancing by Corticosteroid Supplement in Humans. So basically, you take this supplement, you get a performance-enhancing effect, and this is the main compound found in spinach extract. So what this study did was they took about 40-some people, and they 46 young athletes to be specific, and in a double-blinded study, they gave some a placebo and some this extract, and after 10 weeks, they found a 3 times increase in muscle mass of the people who took
impressive.
it. It's significant.
So is that why your girlfriend's now a doper?
There might be a chance that both of us went to GNC to see if there was supplements. GNC doesn't
I
sell
love
it, but
that an episode that April and I were pushing has turned out to be so accurate that you and your smarty pants perfect girlfriend are now engaged in potentially illegal activity.
no, this is not illegal. This is
They
Yet.
sell it
this
at
is
GNC.
fully allowed.
Yet.
And the best part about this study was there were no,
You feel awesome,
toxicology
April.
problems.
Yeah.
So it isn't banned at all, which is why the study's authors are saying they probably should ban it because
For
what they-
now, but then you guys are going to be...
But according to the prohibited list for the 2020 Olympics, it is not banned.
Okay, so these extract that some people may take, how much do you take a day? And, like, what's the dosage? So you said, how much spinach would you have to
So
physically
I don't
eat
think
to...
we should take on the liability of saying how much extract, but we could say the spinach amounts because no one's going to eat this much, right? Like, so the low doses that they gave some of these people was 250 to 4 kilograms a day of spinach. Now, spinach doesn't weigh much, and 4
I
kilograms,
just
what is that,
can't
like
imagine
10 pounds?
I can't imagine. Like, how do you eat that much?
8.4 pounds of spinach.
Like, any greens at that quantity has
2.2
got to do
times 4,
it. Like
8.8
a,
pounds.
Like,
Digestive
oh
tract.
man, that has got to wreak havoc on the
Salad
normal process
shooter.
of your
Yeah.
Yes, if you're a boy. Oh my gosh! And so, like,
But
if
that's the low doses. The high doses,
hypothetically,
yes.
how much is in the extract? If you were to buy it in a store, random store, how much is in those?
Up to 1 to 16 kilograms worth of spinach.
Yeah.
So, well, if
Break
you
it
get,
down.
so
Break it down.
if you ate 16 kilograms of spinach a day
Okay.
for 10 weeks, that's the amount they were giving these people in the extract form.
Which is how much? Like one dropper? Like a baby bird? Like, okay, you're good?
It's not. It's a pill, right? Like it's milligrams. It's like 500 milligrams is a standard dose. So this study gave them low doses, which were less than that, and high doses, which were higher than that. But you can buy 500 milligram doses of this right now over the counter.
And if a person was taking this, would they notice anything different?
After 10 weeks, you would.
So if a person was taking it, how many weeks would they be into it?
Are you taking this
No,
right now?
I'm asking you. Like,
So, are you saying, am I planning on taking this?
No,
Probably,
I'm
actually.
curious, like for a long distance runner and his perfect girlfriend, if you guys were going to test this theory out, I'm actually curious, like just general population, how is this working out for you?
We haven't started yet. We just went through this the other day. Well, truthfully, this morning when I looked at this stuff up.
Okay. I thought we were a couple weeks into this already. So
No, we were going to do this episode, but then we canceled it because we haven't been on air for a while, so I didn't look it
people
up.
have things that come up in their life. Okay, so hypothetically, people haven't tried it long term yet.
No,
Okay,
but we're gonna.
okay. I'm so stoked that
I got a text here recently that said GNC doesn't sell it. This is why I know they don't sell it.
Oh,
And she said go to Super Supplements. I guess they do.
There's one in Lacey.
April and I just want you guys to do something that's borderline.
Well, one
borderline, it's
pound
not
of
banned.
spinach is, with the stems, is slightly larger than your hand can wrap around. Like a bundle
Yeah, but
of
who
spinach.
pack it? Like, spinach is really noticeable in any dish. Like,
Right.
it's really, I can't imagine just like down
10 of those.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying. 10 of those. Like,
Well,
1
8.8.
pound is like.
Ugh.
2.2 is a kilogram, so 8.8.
I just like that the cartoon was true all along.
It's Popeye, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
But what was crazy to me is that so how they measured this 3 times increase in performance was they took people and they did their 1 rep max of bench press, and the people who took the supplement had a 3 times greater increase in their 1 rep max than the people who didn't.
Wow.
And they all worked out the same. Amazing. So the reason why it works, it actually is, it's a phytosteroid. So basically a phytosteroid means it's a steroid molecule that occurs naturally in plants, and it reacts with estrogen receptor beta, which is funny because other estrogen receptor modulators are banned by the World Anti-Doping Association, but this one is not. It is going to be a performance-enhancing drug, I think, in the future, because no one's eating 16 kilograms of spinach a day, which is what they were giving some of these people in the study for 10 weeks.
That is like everything. Like every time they do a study, it's like this ridiculous amount that it's like no one's ever going to use that amount.
No, but you can get the extract at GNC right now.
I know.
Right? So you can refine it, get it down, and take it in a pill, and you're good to go, right? So I do think it will be a performance-enhancing drug soon, but it isn't right now. So are you cheating right now if you do it? We'll say you aren't, but are you? I don't know.
But Scott's willing to try.
But I'm willing to give it a go. But what's interesting about this, I don't just
Not
randomly...
that you need to.
Right.
Well, not that I just randomly put things in my body, but looking at some of the side effects to this, there wasn't really any that
that's what I was curious
quoted.
about. Like, what is the downside?
There was no liver toxicity issues. All the issues you look at with performance-enhancing drugs, there didn't seem to be any. But no one's done a long-term study on it, so you are taking a steroid, even though this is a phytosteroid coming from a plant. But you take steroids, you get increased...
Those plants have a good name. Phyto. That sounds good.
They're classic. They're fighting plants. Either way, so the study's authors say it should be included. They even they wanted it put in the class of other anabolic agents, because again, steroid, right? So just like other
that
anabolic,
makes it even more attractive to you to try before it becomes illegal.
Well, the problem with it is it going to have long-term effects? Maybe, because if it's in these other anabolic agents, anabolic steroids come with a lot of long-term problems. And so if you're doing these, are they going to also come with those problems? No one's really studied it yet, but maybe.
I hope you develop breasts.
I know. I was like, is this going to be like tofu? Scott's going to be stacked after like...
I'm going to have breasts, and so maybe I can finally milk on camera. Take some progesterone.
Why does he do that? Why do you just take it to a weird place sometimes?
We talked about me milking myself on camera once.
I know, but like if you just jump, if you're not watching episodes and know everything in the back history, they're like creeper.
So we talked about me taking progesterone and making myself lactate like a woman.
But we were going to do the lactation on camera.
Yes.
You wanted to.
I wanted to? I thought you guys did.
No.
That's why I froze myself.
I wanted you to.
April may have wanted that. I'd never wanted
I agreed to freeze
You
myself
totally
so I wouldn't have to do
out
that.
on that. Yeah. I was
This is why I
disappointed.
freezed myself so I wouldn't have to do that.
That was back when we told you that we were all going to be taking hits for... physically.
This is your turn.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We should do more of that.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's the spinach thing.
Well, and I personally like the spinach thing because I think it's fun when you can find out that something that's supposedly healthy, may, we don't know yet, could turn out to be like really detrimental to your health. Anything in mass quantities.
Yeah, so this comes back, everything in moderation, right?
Right.
Don't.
You're so proud of that, aren't you?
I think, did we come up with it? I don't
You
think-
did, not we. You came up with that.
Don't eat 16 kilograms of spinach a day, is what we're saying.
Just take a supplement that does the same thing. Well, if you like what you saw or heard today, check us out on our podcast or YouTube.
Or visit our website, medicalconfessions.com.